Podcasting is more than just talking. It's listening. BSing with Bob Schmidt.
The BS with Bob Schmidt podcast featuring entrepreneurs, business people, and marketers. This week, we've got somebody that does basically all three. Casey Stubbs is our guest. Casey's an expert in enhanced marketing strategies, growing your business through increased authority and visibility, and teaching proven strategies to increase your cash flow. And who in the world that owns a business doesn't want to increase cash flow? Casey, thanks a lot for joining us. So let's talk a little bit about the whole marketing piece and how to push our product out there for people to find what we're doing and hopefully bottom line dollars for us.
Well, in order to make sales and to get your business out there, whether it's a business to business or business to consumer, you've got to be seen. And nowadays, even if you're a brick and mortar business or you're an online business, you still need to get seen online. I was just talking to a brick and mortar guy and he said, well, what can you do for me? Well, the thing is, everything. If you're a brick and mortar business now and you don't have an online presence, you're not in the game. So it's really important that you are building out your Facebook profile, your web profile, your YouTube channel, your Twitter space, all of your social accounts, as well as driving paid traffic to your site to try to get customers.
Are you talking paid traffic? What do you mean by that?
Well, all of the big networks now, it's not on TV anymore. It's now on the internet. So you would go to Facebook, get an advertising platform, pay for ads, have Facebook drive traffic to your website or to your offer. Same with Google. When you do a Google search, people look at you in the search results. Well, Google sells the top 3 spots in the search results, and that's how you get seen. So when someone's searching for carpet cleaning, you pay for a carpet cleaning spot, and then you're at the top of the spot and you're buying traffic from Google. So paid traffic is usually coming from Google and Facebook. There's a lot of other sources, but those are the 2 main ones.
You mentioned to be seen. That's kind of my mantra. I try to say, be seen, be heard, be you, to try to get that whole piece of a people out there and in front of public. So I think it's great that you're using the whole be seen piece to your product. How did you come up with that?
Just from being out and slugging this business out a long time. I'm getting close to my 10-year anniversary online marketing. So a lot of people don't make it that long. And so through survival, I've just learned a lot. I started out, it's pretty interesting. I'm an online marketer, but I specialize in the financial industry, the financial and trading industry. And the way I started was I was a construction worker, and in 2008 I was laid off. There was no work available, so I'm like, what am I going to do? I was trying to get jobs. I figured, well, why don't I just try this online thing and see how that works? And so I just started a website about a hobby of mine, which is trading, and it ended up taking off. I started to get traffic, and then by the time my unemployment ran out, I was making enough money to run the website full time. And then just over the years, I've just learned how to drive traffic, how to perfect my sales offer, how to build out brands on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, search engine optimization, just the whole deal, building a large brand online.
So, Casey, is marketing different nowadays than it was 10 years ago when you started or 20 years ago? I'm an old school radio guy, so I mean, I've had the radio business in my blood for 30 years, and I find that things are different now, at least for me in my field, than it was 30 years ago. Is it kind of the same when it comes to marketing?
Well, here's the thing. The stuff that I'm doing didn't even exist when I was a kid. Right? So you're like, oh, I'm going to go to school for this. Well, these jobs that we're doing now didn't even exist. They're new. Like social media manager is a hot job right now. That job didn't even exist 10 years ago. Facebook was created in 2015. So, I mean, this stuff has changed a lot. The core foundation is the same about marketing, getting your message out there, the message that you want. It's just the channels have changed. It's moved from TV to radio, from TV and radio to internet and podcast and YouTube.
Right. And podcasts weren't around. I mean, I just started doing these about a year ago, and they were just kind of in an infancy for the basic person to get in it. You mentioned Facebook was born actually in 2004. I'm sure you meant that, but you kind of got caught up in the time, right?
I appreciate the correction, Bob.
Well, I just want people to know that.
Anytime you want to set me straight, feel free to do it.
So yeah, you're right though that the whole marketplace has changed quite a bit since we were kids, and things going forward are going to change even further. You mentioned the different platforms that you need to be involved in, like YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, and you didn't mention LinkedIn, and you didn't mention like Snapchat and things like that. Are those part of the product as well, or part of the process as well?
Well, I'm big on LinkedIn because do a lot of business to business stuff, and LinkedIn's for promoting yourself mainly. So if you have a business where you're really care about your own personal image, like even if you're looking for a job on a resume, LinkedIn is all about building your personal business profile. Snapchat, I haven't dived into that yet, but I will say this about these social platforms. When you're starting out, like I have a full staff, right? I've got a writer, I've got a social media guy, I've got a marketing guy, I've got an ads guy. So if you're starting out, I don't know where your listeners are at in business, whether they're mid-level, high-level, whatever, but if you're starting out, you cannot do everything. It takes time. I've had to build this up little by little. So pick your favorite social platform, master that, build up a huge following for yourself or for your business, and really utilize that one platform before you move on to something else, because a lot of people have only done one platform and they're really crushing it, like these YouTube video stars or someone who's really influential on Twitter like Donald Trump, right? These guys have only used one platform and it's just changed everything by becoming great at one platform.
Well, you look at a lot of people that are doing that. I have a YouTube channel that my podcast basically upload to, but I haven't put any, quote, original material on there besides my podcast, which I guess are all original, but there's no video to go with them. Am I missing out on a piece with that by not putting video with that?
I think so, because here's why, Bob. And my podcast is called the Cash Flow Hacking Podcast. I teach people additional ways to build cash flow. And so what I do is I put it out on podcast, and I also use it as a video call. And I record both and I put it on YouTube. And here's the reason why. I know people that listen to podcasts on the way to work. And then I also know people that don't have a commute. So they'll listen to my show by sitting on their couch and watching it on their TV on YouTube. And so promoting in different channels allows you to reach people in different locations.
So what are you using then to basically have the conversation like we are now, but so that way it would be video chat?
Well, I use a platform called Zoom, and it's just a little one-on-one platform. I think I pay like $49 a month for it, and I use it for other meetings too, like business meetings, so it's multi-use. But I use that, and you can record it that way. You can also, if you don't want to spend the money, you can use Skype, which allows you to do video calls, and you can record them that way. There's some really good recording software. It's a little techy if you use Skype, but it can be done if you can figure out the tech side of things.
Casey, what's the best way to drive traffic to your website?
Well, I would say the best way is to have a multifaceted approach. And again, I would say maybe start with one, but there's so many ways. What's working for me the best right now is, and what I do is I'm promoting some products of my own, and other people, I promote their products, but I build up search engine optimization profile. Okay. And what that means, I'm not trying to sound too technical, but what that means is I write content that Google will send people in. So since I'm in the financial industry, one of my keywords would be if they type in how to trade the market. They type that in, Google will recognize the search query, and they'll match up the best site. So the key is to get your content up on the top page of Google so you get traffic. And so that's step one. And then step two is, because people might not remember my site, or they might not ever go back, once they visit my site, I use something which Google uses, which is called a targeting pixel. So it remembers that that person visited my website, and then I will then show ads to try to capture that person's information. So if you come there learning a trading strategy, then later on you go to other websites, you'll see my ads saying, hey, I have a trading strategy you can get. Click here to get a free report on how to do it. And then that way I'm able to capture their email information.
So is that the way that a lot of these other places are using for marketing? Because I know that when I'm doing research on people, like for you for example, I typed in Casey and found your stuff, and then I'm on Facebook, and all of a sudden something pops up, and then I'm looking at something else, and that pops up. So that's how a lot of these businesses are doing that in order to bring people back around to close the sale?
Yeah, they call that remarketing. And so really what we'll do is we'll just follow someone all over the internet, and it's targeted. We know that that's what they're interested in because they visited the site once. And so we'll just show those ads all over all the networks. We run them on Facebook. We run them on Google, which has millions of sites in its network. So we can follow people around and try to build a relationship with them. Because for me, branding is all about relationship. And so the more places that I can be online, the more contact points the more memorable my brand is going to be, because there's much competition and so many brands out there right now.
Oh, absolutely. And somebody said once that every time that we look at anything, that there's an ad on it. So, you look at the back of a car, you got the name brand of the car, you got who you bought it from, you've got, if you get close enough, you probably could see who makes the light bulbs. You look at, a television, you see the name of the TV, but then you see every ad that you see. You walk into a grocery store and bam, you're hit with 50,000 products. We see just a ton of things. How do we stand out in the crowd, Casey, when it comes to, we've got the brick and mortar stuff, but then we're trying to get into their personal space and we want to be top of mind when it comes to everything.
Right. And so the more places you can be and the more creative your message is, the better well done it is, the higher quality. And then even it goes on further to your marketing. Do you have a well-written offer? Do you have a great converting sales page? I mean, there's just so many different moving parts. It can be a little overwhelming for newer business people. And it can be a challenge because of the competition. However, I also believe that it's an opportunity, because for those that are willing to really do the work, they can go to the next level. And in so many different ways, especially like with ads, these ad platforms are better than anything we've ever had in the past. You talk about it being different. They give you the ability to tweak these ads where you can actually get your traffic much cheaper than anyone else if you run the ads correctly. And what that means is you target it to the right audience, you have the right message, you have stuff that they want to engage with, because Facebook is all about delivering content. And so if you deliver content that people like, they're going to put your ads out much cheaper, because it's going to be helping Facebook out because they're engaging the audience.
All right, I got to ask about this because you said do it correctly, and earlier you're talking about doing the SEO and the hashtags and whatever. How do you know what that proper message is, or how do you know how to quote correctly put the right message in front of Casey, and then the right message in front of Joe, and then the right message in front of Bob, and then Sally and Susie and everybody else? Because I'm assuming that it's a different message for me than it was for you than it is for Susie.
It is different for everybody, because there's age, there's, sex, what they do, all interests, all of those different things. And so the best way to do this, and this is why I have someone running my ads for me all the time, is
you got somebody that knows what they're doing.
Right. And I trained them, though. That's the thing,
right? Because
I trained them. So you run multiple ads. So whenever you launch an ad, you will run it with like 4 different images and 4 different messages. Then you'll run it to multiple audiences, multiple different targeting. And it comes down to a process of elimination. And the great thing about Facebook is you can start out with a $10 budget. And so you start with a $10 budget and you figure out which ones are working through process of elimination. And then you just pick the best ones, and then you just do the process again. And you just keep tweaking, and then you start to find the message that really hits with people. And then you boost your revenue, you boost the ad spend, and then that's how you scale your ad success. Where I see a lot of people doing a mistake they make is they just come in, they don't test, they put an ad and they put their whole budget on it, and they say, well, that didn't work. Facebook took all my money. Well, it's because they're not doing it the right way.
Right. I think they do that with every type of media. Now, I've heard rumors from people that said that once they started buying ads on Facebook, that they stopped being shown to their friends and with their feed when they're posting other things. When it's not the ad, but it's the information that they have that they're pushing out on their business page. Is that true? Have you found?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I'm a Facebook expert, but I don't really even use Facebook for my own personal stuff. So on my feed, I might post a picture of my kids or something and nobody will see that. But on my business pages, it's different from my personal page. There's not really interaction there. And so using the ads on the business page hasn't impacted my personal page at all, if that was the question that you were asking.
Well, I'm just saying that, let's say that your business page, all of a sudden, okay, you change your hours. So instead of being open from 8 to 5, you're now open from 9 to 4, and you put that up there as a post. If you didn't pay for it, or if you didn't, quote, boost it, then it's not being seen because you've boosted things in the past. So they kind of got that algorithm, if you will, of, hey, this guy's going to pay for ads, so I'm not going to post it up there for nothing.
Okay. Now, there is definitely some truth to that. However, if you can run the right type of content on your Facebook page business-wise, and when I say the right kind, I mean content that engages the audience, and you become an influencer and you build an audience that engages, they will see it. But only the people that engage with your brand. So I have some really active Facebook pages where I can post free posts and they get very good engagement and they get very good reach because I've built up that audience. So you have to really work hard at building engagement and building your audience before you can get organic traffic.
All right. Well, that makes sense. Now, when we were talking earlier about the SEO, how do we know what words to post or which is the right, not message, but the right, for me, for podcasting, when I put business, entrepreneur, marketing, what would be the right SEO package for me to push out onto the public?
Okay. Now, you have to do something what's known as keyword research. And I actually have a video on my website, CaseyStubbs.com. If you wanted a link to that, I could send it to you.
Perfect.
It's like a 30-minute video that explains the whole process. But just in short, you got to do keyword research. You need to find out what people are searching for and then write your content for those keywords. So, for example, you would just pull up, if you're looking for podcasting, like business podcasting, you type that in and then just notice the top pages that show up for that already, and then look at how their articles are and then try to target the keywords that are in their articles.
How did you get involved from marketing to decide that, hey, I want to market toward, the investment side? What made you decide that was where you wanted your niche to be?
The fact that I'm a marketer was a complete accident. I had no intention of being an online marketer. I didn't even know what a marketer was. I just started a website about trading because I was interested in trading. My dad taught me to trade when I was a very young boy. He actually was a stock guy and I was a computer nerd, and I had taught him how to run his charts on the computer. And so in return, he taught me about stocks. So I was just writing a website about my hobby, trading, and then it took off, and then it turned into marketing in the financial industry.
It says here also that you're a serial entrepreneur. So have you come up with a lot of different things or a lot of different businesses? I
have several businesses within the brand or within the financial industry. I have one where I'm just selling traffic, straight emails traffic. If you want to buy traffic from me off of Facebook, I'll run campaigns for you. So I have an advertising business. I also have a business where I'm publishing traders I find traders that have a really good product and really good education, but they don't know how to sell anything. I say, hey, I love your product. It's great, but you don't know how to sell. Let me help you sell it. And so I have a couple of product businesses in the trading industry as well, where I have a team of people that is developing some indicators, which is software to help trade the market.
I want to be rich, Casey. Does traffic equal sales?
Traffic plus a good offer equals sales.
Okay, so what do you mean by good offer? What is a good offer?
A good offer means that you have taken the time to write some very good sales copy and you turn it into a text sales page or a sales video, and you run it and you test it. You find out what converts. It's the same way as running an ad. When you write like a Facebook ad, you got to run multiple copies. When you're running a sale on your website for something that you're selling, you need to run it multiple times, test it versus different types of traffic, and just keep tweaking it, making it better. Once you do that, then you open the floodgates of traffic. You don't want to run a lot of traffic unless you know that you can make sales. Otherwise, that traffic is just going to disappear.
Now, in the sales, are you looking for a high dollar sales? Or are you looking for a ton of low dollar sales?
It depends on your marketing strategy and your product. If you are like a coach or something like that, you don't have a lot of time to. You can't duplicate yourself 50,000 times, so you actually have to charge more. So you're only looking for a few high dollar clients. But like if, for example, my software business, it's a pretty low price. So I'm looking for quantity. So it just depends on what you're selling. A lot of the best marketers out there do both. They have some low dollar products for entry-level customers, and then as those customers become more loyal, they'll take them up and give them some more premium products. So they have a little bit mixture of both.
Now, a lot of the products you're talking about, are you talking about like something to read or something to watch, or a pay-for-click kind of podcast? Or are you talking about physical products?
In the financial industry, it's pretty much education. It's a financial course on how to navigate the market successfully, how to become a good investor, so reports, videos, and then even some additional some of the traders that I work with, they will sell reports that actually have investment choices that people can look at.
All righty. Is it possible for most people that are listening right now, or the typical entrepreneur, to reach their full potential, to start making some money off their product? Or is it something that a lot of us are doing? We're spinning our wheels and we're just kind of staying in one place.
It's definitely possible, but you've got to get the right information and you've got to take action on it. And you just got to keep moving. The industry moves really fast. So you've got to really put your work in. Because it's changing so rapidly, and the competition is really strong now. Because just face it, young people today, when they get out of school, they don't want to do anything but computer and online stuff now. That's why the trade jobs like welder and mechanic and carpenters are in such high demand, because nobody wants to do that type of work anymore. Everybody wants to go and start their own online stuff. So the competition is really fierce.
Oh, absolutely. I know that you started off kind of with boots to the ground, being in the military. Being in the military, did that help you to be who you are today?
It definitely did. I learned a lot of good work ethic and perseverance type stuff through that. And I absolutely enjoyed the time that I had. It taught me a lot about life. And, I was just a kid going in, so I had no clue about what I wanted to do. Like I went to college for like 2 semesters, and I saw the recruiter in the hallway. I said, forget college. This is so stupid. I hate it. I'm not doing this. So I joined the Army, and it was a great decision because I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Right. Did that help you be all you can be?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Casey, we've had a good conversation here. So if you were to listen to this and you were kind of doing the Cliff Notes, what did you take out of the conversation that we had? I would
say that if you have a passion for something that you want to do, just go after it. Look at what you have, not at what you don't have. Look at your skills, maximize those, and really take action on a plan. And when you're starting a business online, find a way to get traffic and just really work hard at that one area before you work on a lot. And also make sure that you're able to retain that traffic via an email list, building up your social profile so that you can continue to have a conversation with your customer.
How often do you have that conversation?
Well, for me, about 50 times a day.
What? What? You're hitting somebody that has an email that's on your email list 50 times in a day?
No, I have multiple channels. So I've got Telegram. I've got Telegram, which I didn't even talk about. That's an email messaging. That's a messaging service. So I'm going to hit you on Telegram. I have Facebook Messenger, so I get your information on Messenger. It's another messaging. I'm going to hit that. I've got push notifications, which are on my website. It's like a little browser notification. I'm going to get you with that. I've got YouTube. I've got Twitter. I've got Facebook. I've got email. I'm sending multiple emails a day. So when you get connected with my brand, you're going to hear from me.
Well, you know what? This is all stuff that I think that I would like to learn more about, and I'm guessing that a lot of people listening right now are like, 50 times in a day? How in the world do I get to be a part of that? Casey, how do we find you?
My website is CaseyStubbs.com. You can go there and leave me a message, and my favorite place of communication is Twitter. You can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/Casey Stubbs, and there's a link to my Twitter account on my website. I'm always on Twitter every day. You can always contact me there.
The BS with Bob Schmidt podcast is brought to you by Orange Computer. Find them online at orangecomputerlax.com. And by Tri-State Sound and Light. Find them online at tristatesound.com. Tell your story with microcasts by podcastforhire.com. The BS with Bob Schmidt podcast is a Podcast for Hire production.